Now, today is day 2 of the Commission of Inquiry into Criminality, Political Interference and Corruption in the Criminal Justice System, or the Madlanga Commission, as it is also known. And yesterday, KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi set the tone for a process that has been put in place as the result of damning allegations that he made of undue influence on law enforcement by criminals. Now, Zola Majavu is a Chartered Director and a Senior Legal Practitioner. He, of course, joins us now to talk to us about what is happening as someone who has also represented 2 review cases at the Zola Commission, amongst others, that on Gwede Mantashe and Brian Molefe, and he's already won a case for ANC member Zizi Kotwa. So, someone who has seen this up close before, Zola Majavu, good to have you with us. Welcome.
Good morning, my sister, and good morning to the viewers and South Africans at large.
And thanks so much for your time. As I say, you've seen these commissions up close before, and also just, perhaps we can start by just explaining the legal dynamics of having a commission of inquiry, a parliamentary and judicial process, and all this all taking place at the same time. Many are questioning the viability of this. I put that question to Ian Cameron earlier as well. But just talk to us, about your perspective, especially from a legal standpoint, also on day 1 of the commission, the Madlanga Commission.
Thank you. I think I can appreciate where those who are questioning the timing come from. However, the 2 processes can and still lawfully be permitted to run concurrently. However, ideally, you should have had the one ventilating its own terms of reference separately, because you'll have a situation where the same witnesses who are going to participate in both processes must now split themselves. But I think, if I may put my foot in it, I blame parliamentarians on this one, because General Mkhwanazi did approach them previously and made some of the revelations that are now in the public domain much earlier. It was open to them then to seize the opportunity and say, hang on, let us constitute an inquiry to enable you to ventilate in more detail these issues. They didn't do that. They sat on their laurels. And then when these allegations came public, the president correctly so, and as he is lawfully entitled to, then set up a commission. And now you have an overlap of the time. That is unfortunate. It could have been avoided. But there's a separation of powers. The parliamentary processes can run their course. The Judicial Commission of Inquiry can also run its course, as it has started to do so. So there's no issue there. It's just that practically it poses some challenges that could have been avoided with better planning. Now, on the issue of day 1, I think we got off to a good start. I liked how the commission structured the proceedings to make it easy for non-lawyers to follow. You had an opening salvo by Advocate Terry Mutau, who basically set the scene and did opening remarks to explain what is it that can be expected in days to come. And immediately thereafter, they kicked off with the star witness in the form of General Mkhwanazi. And he is being led. He's probably going to be in the stand for the next 2 or 3 days or more, even, on what he would have said had he read a statement, because you'll see that he is reading from a pre-prepared statement, but he's not just reading like he's reading a story. He is being asked probing questions to enable him to then amplify on whatever it is that he intends putting across. So I think we're off to a good start. But the caution is, people mustn't get excited prematurely, because what he says still remains untested evidence. It will be interesting to see how he fares when he is cross-examined by those who he might have implicated in his testimony, because that is where the balancing act by the commission is going to have to come in. But so far, he's testifying very eloquently, and I think the man knows his story. The man is well trained, and he must have been well prepared for this inquiry. So it's still early days, but I think at the rate at which we are going, he is definitely going for the Skolex, and he's pulling no punches. And that is what is expected in participatory democracy. So we should be proud as South Africans to see this playing out in the manner that it does.
Now, to your point about non-lawyers who have a vested interest and are greatly participating in this online on various platforms, Zola, if you look at what happened and the general's allegations, some people feel that this did not require a commission of inquiry to probe any further. Why not just go straight to testing those allegations, laying charges against people and testing the allegations that were made by Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi? What's your take on that?
That view is not incorrect from the vantage point of those who don't appreciate the legal proceedings, so one cannot fault them. But I think what we must also appreciate is that these allegations go to the very heart of the rule of law. They implicate national security, public trust and confidence in the entire value chain of the judicial processes. So it is important, and I think it was correct that we go this route so that these and related and other unknown allegations, insofar as they threaten the rule of law or the national security, are tested and tested openly and transparently. And in the end, there is nothing stopping anyone, including General Mkhwanazi himself or any police officer, from laying criminal charges against anyone. It is not dependent on the outcome of this commission, and that is what people are missing. I think there is nothing stopping anyone, any police officer, from going to the police station now and say, I am opening a case. Even we as civilians, and civilians have done that. Other democratic societies or latter-day champions of democracy have gone to court on mere allegations being made and laid charges at the police station. But the risk you run is that you may prematurely run off and signal an advance warning to those against whom a prosecution proper could have been successfully launched. So we must resist that temptation of jumping every time someone makes allegations, because once you do that, the person against whom allegations are made has constitutional entrenched rights to remain silent. So you, as a person who is accusing someone, you in the form of the state, in the National Prosecuting Authority, bear the onus to prove those allegations beyond reasonable doubt. And in many instances, that excitement has led to cases being botched up. And I say this as someone who's represented people that perhaps got away with charges in instances where the state prematurely rubbished their images or their integrities, and later it was found that the allegations were not substantiated. So there is absolutely nothing wrong with the commission unfolding as it does, but one can understand that we are fatigued as a society with commissions, one commission after the other. But this is a matter of paramount public interest that should not be rushed at the altar of convenience or satisfying the public's curiosity or impatience. These allegations are not going to be proven simply on the say-so of General Mkhwanazi. They need to be backed up with solid evidence. The risk that we also run as a country and as a society is that if these cases get prematurely prosecuted and the NPA loses, we're going to say, the NPA is useless, you see. So we've got to bide our time, be patient, and make sure that no stone is left unturned as we dig deeper, because this appears to be a very well-orchestrated syndicate if the evidence of General Mkhwanazi is anything to go by. So we need to be slightly patient, and no amount of money can equate to the public interest and the public value of this exercise.
We just have a minute, but I quickly want to pulse you on this, Zola. People say they look at commissions and the fact that they have no teeth, so to speak, and they say this is just, a theater of accountability because there are no real legal consequences that flow from this for some of the accused. So do you think that this particular commission is sufficiently capacitated to actually come up with recommendations that will lead to some form of real consequence for those who are implicated?
The constituent members of this commission have impeccable credentials. I, for one, have maximum respect for their work and their competence and capabilities. Yes, I believe that the commission is adequately capacitated. As to how they are going to craft their recommendations, we have to wait and see. But ultimately, the answer is going to lie with the person who's going to be the recipient of the recommendations in the form of the president. The commission's recommendations are not binding, but they are not one that can easily be dismissed. So I would be very surprised. And in fairness to the president, I don't think he'll set up a commission and completely ignore its recommendations. The answer will lie in the judicial machinery that is going to give effect to these recommendations once they have been appointed. I still believe that we are fortunate enough to live in a participatory and democratic society. It will take time, but I am sure that there will be fruits ultimately. Yes, there have been failings in the past, but we should not paint all commissions with the same brush. I remain confident as a practitioner. I remain confident as a South African that at least we have the rule of law to look up to.
Zola, we'll leave it there for today. But you know what the skeptics say? They say you don't institute a commission of inquiry unless you know what the outcome's going to be. But that's a story for another day. We'll catch up. Zola Majavu is a chartered director and senior legal practitioner. He defended former members of parliament, ANC member Zizi Kodwa in a Zola Commission-related case where charges were dropped and Zizi Kodwa set free. We'll leave it there for now. As I say, much more to come from the Madlanga Commission. But let's take a quick break.